Do you want to go 16 blocks?
16. Oh, no, that's going to. Oh, God.
Who's the main character in 16 blocks?
Most Def.
We gotta go 16 blocks.
Oh no, hey, Jack Mosley.
Thanks, Jack Mosley. You took me 16 blocks. You're a good man, Jack Mosley.
Jack Mosley. You a good man. I'm gonna give me a
you're my
chop,
brother.
Jack Mosley.
Now you're my brother.
You know what the most fake part of that movie too was? When he shows him a picture of his sister, and then all Most Def says is she look like a real nice woman.
She's a real nice woman. She's an angel.
Is it one of those movies where
it's like
two people who come from different walks of life realize they have more in common than they thought?
Dude, if I saw a picture of anyone's sister, I would just make, even if she was unattractive, I would just make, sexual comments just to
like, why are you showing me your fucking sister?
Like, why are you showing me your sister? Like, is there some, like, it's just such a bad movie.
It really is. I thought it was good until you turned me on it.
I turned you on 16 blocks. 16 blocks is just another, like in the 90s and early 2000s, they would do these movies where they would put a black guy with a white guy.
Right.
And it would be, a black-white kind of, tug and pull while they're
it's almost like it's like the novelty to them where they go, look, we put a black guy.
Like we put a black guy in here. Like,
oh my God, we're crazy.
Yeah. But the problem is Most Def is not that black guy. And but Hollywood thought, we just put a crazy black guy like Chris Tucker with, Jackie Chan because he's kind of quiet.
Yes. Well, that made sense because the Asians and the blacks hate each other.
Yeah.
But
Asians, where that thing where like Asians are the quiet and no one like thinks they're assertive. That's from the Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker movies. What was it called? Rush Hour. That's what I was seeing. Like that was the perception of Asians in like every movie, unless it's a karate movie. But even in karate movies, they were never like assertive that much. They would just kick your ass if you were doing something evil. Or they'd have the other guy try to kick their butt, and it would make them.
Rush Hour didn't bother me that much because it played off a reality where it's like Chris Tucker was extremely racist to him the whole movie, and then there's like one part where like Jackie Chan says something that's like kind of a little racist, and it's like this big, man, I can't believe you said that, like that.
Rush Hour is kind of the best version of that kind of, genre. Of black
what do you call that? Racial comedy, I guess.
Racial comedy.
Yeah, but 16 blocks. The reason why 16 blocks sucks is because it's almost like one of those movies where they have the moment where the white guy says to the black guy, "We the same.
We the same now. Jack Mosley, we the same."
Yeah.
You a good man, Jack Mosley.
We're going to be friends when you get out. Thank you, Jack Mosley. And Jack Mosley was a corrupt cop seeking redemption.
Yeah, and then he takes
through
his
Most
place
Def.
Yeah, Most Def makes him realize.
Most Def was like the Catholic, priest that just, absolves, the white guy of his sins, of the sins of his forefathers and, whatever.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, you've been redeemed, Jack Mosley.
You better. I'll be here when you get out, Jack Mosley. Thank you.
You could come to my cake shop.
No, if anybody, I don't care if you're white, black, if you were meeting that kind of resistance from protecting this, like a guy from testifying against your fellow officers, like who the hell would get involved?
remember the big twist was that he was actually involved in the case, so he was going to implicate him too.
Yeah,
but Jack Mosley, you didn't do that, did you, Jack Mosley?
Yeah, everybody, Your Honor, it was everybody but Jack Mosley. He's my brother now.
We all make mistakes, Your Honor.
Yeah, we all make mistakes, Your Honor. And Jack Mosley realized that he's a good man.
Mos Def is the dumbest motherfucker on the planet, by the way. He really is. Did you know his story, right? He renounced his U.S. citizenship.
Oh, right.
Moved to Africa thinking that he was going to go live the African dream.
Right.
And he gets this thing that's called a world passport where you don't have a country, but it's only recognized by like 3 countries in the world.
Okay.
And there's none in Africa. And they basically tried to arrest him. And they gave him he had a hard time, and then he I guess looked for the U.S. for help, and they're like, no, you kind of renounced your U.S. citizenship. You're not us anymore.
Mos Def is a stupid motherfucker because who wouldn't, what black guy wouldn't be able to realize that they were just a prop in these movies to make they were just the stereotype of a dumb black guy who didn't know nothing, who had a way of speaking that is illegible. Like I saw this guy tried to go on Bill Maher with Christopher Hitchens, the atheist guy. Yeah, and it was just it was embarrassing for him, and he got pouty, and he's like, oh, and then he started thinking, oh, this is racist. This guy is racist. Right. He started playing the race card for no reason. Like it's those examples that warm my heart because it's just a demonstration of people that are just using victimization.
Even on this level of let's say, okay, we accept that he's just using his victim card, right? But he's using it, making albums, making money from being a rapper, being in movies, being the co-star with Bruce Willis, being in the Chappelle Show, being basically a underground guy who became a mainstream icon to a degree, and then he just denounces his citizenship.
He's Jussie Smollett. The guy tried to pull a hoax on Bill Maher, a hate crime, a hate hoax on Bill Maher because Christopher Hitchens, because he couldn't understand what Christopher Hitchens was saying.
Right.
Like Christopher Hitchens is, he's not a right winger, but he was for the Iraq War. I don't know why. And trying to make him out as some sort of,
you're the devil, Christopher Hitchens.
You're the devil, Christopher Hitchens.
You're the devil.
You're a bad man, Christopher.
Oh, remember that from 16 Blocks too, where he almost had a retard moment where the 2 cops go and he's like, I don't think these are good guys.
I don't think these are very bad people.
I don't want to be left here, Jack Mosley.
Jack Mosley, please.
Stay with me, Jack Mosley.
Only 6 more blocks, Jack Mosley.
Oh, fuck. And it ends in a bus.
It's like, why don't you find a phone and call the court up and tell them that you're being held up by an army of cops that are
police officers.
By rogue police officers. It's so dumb. And this is the time of cell phones came out, and it's just get to a landline if there's no cell phone. Call the cops. The court has police, has sheriffs, that will come and they will find you.
And then he finally finds a phone. And then he calls his sister, who's an ambulance driver, and what's cringy about that is before Mos Def is going, who are you gonna call, Jack Mosley? And he goes, somebody I trust. The only person I trust.
Sis, I gotta know who you gonna vote for. Things are just to name things
yes.
Call the courthouse. Call the prosecuting attorney.
Remember the end where Mos Def was trying to calm down
Trump.
The little
He's
girl?
giving out favors.
He was trying to calm down the little girl in the bus. And he's like, "What's your birthday?"
Oh yeah, right.
Look,
that's the only thing that made sense to me.
Right here, it's a princess cake.
That's the only part that when he's talking to the kid, that's the only thing that made sense to me because it was so silly that a kid could, a 9-year-old kid is on his level.
Yeah, she was like, oh, he's one of them. Even she was like that.
Like, clearly, Mos Def is a rapping savant. Clearly, he's a rapping savant.
Yeah, I'm not taking away his rapping skills. I think he's a good rapper. He's good. If he was great, he wouldn't have to be this ridiculous.
I mean, yeah. I mean, who's another ridiculous rapper out there? There's got to be another one. No one's that ridiculous, I guess. Eminem. Eminem was ridiculous for a whole different. He was ludicrous.
I was listening to old Eminem stuff that I haven't listened to in years, and I was just like, I was laughing my ass off. Yeah. He was fucking hilarious. I don't know what happened to him.
But that was such a craze back then. I mean, even the Abercrombie kids, in the 90s were listening to Eminem. He just blew up.
Yeah. Well, he was pop. He went pop.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he did go pop. I mean, simple I'm not going to call it trashy, but simple, like rap and pop are simple it's simple music unless there's a band. I mean, that kind of era destroyed bands. Like Eminem being that big. Like, I remember back then there were rock bands like Good Charlotte. I mean, Green Day came out with their anti-war album. There was who else? Not Nirvana.
What are you talking about?
Like the songs from American Pie. American Pie is a white person,
bare naked ladies.
That's a sheltered white person. The skeevy sheltered white people.
1 week since you looked at me. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like the suburb white people.
Like the suburb white people.
They go to college. They come back for the summer.
Right, but they're white people getting into shenanigans. Like this bed is on fire with passionate love.
We're gonna destroy their jet skis, and it's just a funny prank.
Right,
we could buy new ones.
Oh man, it's so evil. Yeah, it's like white people. Like we can just destroy personal property and break someone's arm because we can pay for it.
We can pay. Insurance has us.
Yeah. Why would we be prosecuted? We can amend. We can make amends through finances.
And then they all have a chuckle.
Loans and collateralization.
That's
financing structures.
In your neighborhood, there's a lot of look, I don't want to press charges. I just want them to pay for it.
Oh, my neighborhood.
It's going to get paid for.
My neighborhood is like, listen, I'm sorry I hit your car. I'll pay for it. Like you go up to people and say, hey, I did this. Like even if you're if you're a college student and you don't have a lot of money, you could say, listen, I will pay for this, over time. Can we have a payment plan or something? Like, people will actually do that. Like, where
a payment plan between people. Jesus.
A payment plan.
That's unheard of where I'm from. Actually, no, it's not, but it just usually doesn't end in payment.